This is the beginning of part 4 of... You know what? Actually, no. I'm not going to do that every part because it's going to get annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, Shu. I share your sentiments.
Running that fast made it overheat. It's not going anywhere like this. Really?
Okay.
Weird,
Anyway, we
the
find
thing looks like
ourselves
it was-
into... Welcome to the Devi tribe village. I forgot the actual name. It's the village of the... Oh, great. We have an entire village of these things.
Why is he wearing a pot for his helmet?
To the patients, quickly.
Uh...
And who might you be?
I get
Feeling
queer.
quirky today.
Yeah, queer.
You know, guys, I'm really getting some uncomfortable what made the red man red vibes here.
They're not human, so...
We're Mukmak token dwarves. With,
Well, let's just say, Pedro, Japan has a tendency to kind of unintentionally do certain...
Yeah, that's actually a good point, Shu. Why the hell is only Maru Maro the annoying one? Everybody else has a normal voice, but Maru Maro, no, he had to get the annoying voice because he's the one with us.
But don't you see, Pedro? He's on the right track, baby, he was born that way!
Well, he was
No,
so
he's just a
desperate
big
about
fan of
saving
Toad.
everybody here.
I guess.
But even Toad isn't that annoying nowadays. Okay, I guess Toad
know.
was. I guess Toad was annoying back then, and can occasionally be annoying, but
Join.
whatever.
We'll stop with this in part 6.
Yeah. So what are we doing now?
Well, now we're going to see exactly why Maru Maro needed the venison so badly.
So what is so special about these Devis outside of their appearances?
Oh. Pandemic.
Basically, there's this an epidemic, and
Let me guess, the epidemic is caused by the big bad of this game somehow.
Jova, you must be a fucking wizard.
Now, okay, to be fair, just,
Oh, that's a common thing in a lot of RPGs too.
I guess what depends is it done
Oh, it's
cleverly?
chicken pox.
Is it done cleverly, at least, Pedro?
I'll let you be the judge of that when we get to it. We're actually almost there. So
There could be measles.
Also, guys, all these people are coughing. You should probably take some precautions.
Yeah, don't you have like masks or some filter?
well, to be fair, Teo, they didn't come prepared for this kind of stuff.
I guess maybe because they're of a different species.
Well, what about the other of a tribe?
Are they?
Jova.
You know, it's sad because even back in the old days of the Crusades, they still had plague masks to make sure they didn't get the disease. So, yeah,
See, here's my
there's
big
no
problem in here. Here's my big problem
Hold
with,
on, let me
with
finish.
this. Oh, go ahead.
But yeah, you know what's sad, Pedro? Even in medieval times, people had stuff like plague masks to make sure that they didn't get
True.
diseases. So these people were dumber than the medieval time folk.
So yeah. So here's a plot twist. Turns out the medicine Nene told Maru Maro would heal them. Turns out it made them even worse.
Oh.
Let me.
People just simply wear masks if they're around others.
So I can from that scene I can guess that Maru Maro is the older brother of those
Yes.
of those people.
Yes. Here's why this scene doesn't really work for me. See, I can't really feel bad for any of these villages because, again, we've literally just arrived here. I don't know any of these people, and
Not only
you can't just immediately. And trust me, we're not going to stay here long enough to get to know any of these characters. So it's just really hard for me to care.
It would have helped if we'd known about such an epidemic before we came here, but we didn't.
And not
Yeah.
only
Thrown at it.
not only that, but the game doesn't even seem to be trying to get us to care. Like, you know, okay, during that cutscene, there was no music whatsoever to help build up the atmosphere. I'm not saying that that's always required,
Honestly,
but
if they try, with the lack of like a proper introduction, if they tried to build it up like that, it would have felt forced.
okay,
And keep in mind, Shiroi, like you said, right, important scene.
well, already?
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun,
Joe
dun,
Joe has a point. Like I said, the pacing is horrible. We just got here.
You know, I hate to
Yeah.
say it, but
This game jumps from scene to scene like a Mexican jumping beat.
wait, he took.
I hate. Could you please? Yes, please. Yes, kill him. Yes, kill him. Die.
No, what's even going on? Who's
Nene. It's Nene.
So,
but
Okay, the
how
villain.
was he shocking you? Like from
Because
distance?
remember, he's a mage, magic tail. It's magic. We don't have to explain it.
Of course.
That's why magic exists.
Okay.
Gotta love those pauses to load the in-game cutscenes.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Lost Odyssey doesn't have this problem.
Don't rush into this.
Keep in mind, Shiro, after this, he at the very least got back on track with Lost Odyssey, the game we showed you yesterday.
Yeah.
Yay!
Oh god. Why?
The three of us
What's the name of what's the name of the actress again, Jova? I know who she is, I just don't remember her name.
It's hard to remember her name.
Hey, anyway, Styx is actress, basically.
Yeah.
I don't.
See, the reason this works is
I like her Styx because with Styx they did it better in the sense that yes, she's technically high pitched, but they still kept her restrained enough to the point where it's just quirky rather than annoying. In here, you can tell they just told her to just scream her lungs out.
Yeah, one of the problems I have, it's not so much the voice itself. I mean, this is nowhere near the most annoying voice I've ever heard, but it's the fact that she's going so over the top, she's not enunciating correctly.
which kind of ruins some emotional moments.
Yeah.
So basically, we needed this. Turns out Nene sent Maru Maro to search this medicine because he actually needed it. So, yay.
So it works for him, but just makes it worse for them. Let me guess, this will rejuvenate him.
Tea break.
So why can
Hold on. Doop, nothing.
Wait, what?
Which means the whole medicine shtick was completely pointless.
For everyone. Well, I guess. Wait, no, wait. I see the purpose now. It's to get Maru Maro on our team.
Hey, wait. Since when they got electrocuted?
Nene.
No, I know, but the previous team wasn't just getting up. They weren't showing those sparks.
Didn't we see him actually, cast a spell on them or something? I think we did.
No, it was just engulfing Maru Maro with the circle.
I must have spaced out because this game is also interesting.
Let me see the YouTube thing.
Perhaps they're the only option.
I hate that thing. Like seriously, the only point of that little thing on his shoulder is to
Why
repeat.
doesn't he kill them?
Remember, Teo, this apparently. Yeah, well, you see, Teo. When Motomo Toriyama created Kaya's, he took inspiration from Nene.
Of course.
Like, you see. Okay, basically, after 13, Teo, they told him make a game kind of like Sakaguchi does games, and then okay, I'll take inspiration from Blue Dragon then.
No!
Of all the games, you could have picked Lost Odyssey, but no, you picked this one.
Pedro, and now you got me imagining a version with Toriyama and a Square, and the Square Enix higher-ups in a guise of the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 joke with Raccoon and Little Groot with the bomb.
Suppose Nene was trying
You mean
to do with
Rocket?
that medicine.
Rocket Raccoon, yeah.
Even though the villagers were suffering,
Now
he was
Toriyama
taking advantage
made
of them.
something based off of his kid stuff.
Shut up! Oh God!
Well, I guess it's very...
Okay, now it's annoying.
No. Don't you see, guys? He's sad. Therefore, he will go off to his room, therefore making...
Why should I care? No, seriously, honest question. Why should I care?
Now, here's what a good game developer would do. Wait, why are we going after Maru Maro? I was just about to say
Because we're trying to make him feel better. Right? Because remember, we're the goody main characters.
Also, you missed a treasure chest.
Okay, seriously.
Who cares?
Seriously.
And another one.
Okay, seriously.
I'm on New Game Plus too. At this point, I don't really care. I just want to move on.
True.
Seriously, people who say Yuffie was annoying.
No, Yuffie's not annoying. That's a horrible misconception. I will contest that. That's a horrible misconception. Yuffie's fine. She's not the best character in the game by any means, but she's still fine as a comic relief character.
I never get why people hated her that much, honestly.
I think it's mostly because in the context of the original game, she's not exactly all that important. To the point where even the game allows you to skip her entirely.
The same thing with the other guy, though.
It works fine for Yuffie because her story is self-contained and separate from the rest. But Vincent should have been obligatory from the beginning, which is something that I'm hoping the remake will correct. Because Vincent should have never been an optional character to begin with, because he's incredibly important to the overall storyline.
Yeah, it's just like, I get that. It's just seriously the hate for Yuffie. Ugh. Seriously, there are annoying characters. Yuffie's not one of them.
Yeah, I agree. Yuffie's harmless at worst, honestly, if you ask me.
I mean, from what I hear, mostly it seems to be just people.
Okay, allow me to say
How
something, by the way.
big is this fucking village?
I know, right? I was about to mention that. Here's another problem with this particular game that I don't like. I get that this is trying to be a throwback to the old days, but it's 2007. I kind of would have liked a mini-map to help me guide myself in between places, because since the village is big, it's kind of hard to find something when you're looking for it, because the game didn't specifically tell me where Maru Maro was going, so I just had to look for him.
I'm just gonna say this. If the player gets lost in a village in an RPG, you're doing something wrong.
Oh god.
Maru Maro, get a grip.
Yeah, please.
That's pathetic, Maru Maro.
Yeah, stop crying just because your entire family is in great danger.
Yeah, that's
Pussy.
too
Okay.
far. Like, come on.
What a great likable protagonist Shu is.
Pedro, I hate to say it, but that line is starting to make me... Okay, I hate them both, but... Okay, seriously, the fact
So
that...
now you hate Shu as well?
Well, okay, I don't really hate Shu. In fact, I don't even hate Maru Maro.
Honestly, Jova, how can you even hate Shu? We barely know anything about him.
Okay. Hate's a strong word. I don't hate Shu, and I surprisingly don't hate Maru Maro.
Oh, no, this is important. All that thought, Jova.
I remember seeing these symptoms before.
That was an awkward long pause.
Basically, her parents were doctors, so she knows this shit. Because obviously the daughter of two doctors would know medicine, right?
No. Objection! Okay. No, I have to point this out. If her parents were doctors, why in the 7 rings of hell did she not give any advice when they were in the gosh darn hospital underground? I don't care if they don't know the medications.
Yeah.
She should have something of an idea of what could have worked. No, you stupid story!
It's like
We just go old Pedro.
this is it's like Sakaguchi's making this up as he goes.
Okay. You know it's
Hey,
weird.
Jova, isn't your mom a doctor? Or...
Yes, he is
Yeah.
too. I remember how we brought up some medical trivia things.
So obviously, Joba, that means you know how to treat these illnesses. So do you think you know how to treat this one?
Oh, yeah, that's another good thing to point out. That's
Maru Maro has joined the party. Yay!
Can we play the rank key of Sonic Unleashed?
Yeah. Oh my god! I'm gonna have to add that in post.
it's. It's really weird when I think about it. This is nowhere near as bad as the 13 games, but something about this. Okay. 13.
It's the fact that it's being made by people that we know are capable of stuff so much better than this.
Not just that, but okay.
Hold on. Oh.
Just like the cloud we saw.
This is how it originally happened.
Got sick.
And no one. What?
So people got poisoned because industrialization.
Had collapsed and went back to the village.
You see,
So,
this is how Maru Maro should have always sounded. He sounds fine now.
So Maro left the
You know,
village
I
again.
have a question. You just noticed that Nene's ship came in fog as well, Maru Maro. Just a few minutes ago.
It
It
never
literally
occurred
came
to
into
you to
fog.
do
Elixir in
too,
an
yeah.
ancient underground hospital would save the village. There was no choice. To save Mommy and Daddy.
I could
and
make a
everyone
specific
else,
joke right now,
Maro
but it would
had
be
to
very
swallow the
distasteful, so I'm not gonna say anything.
So Nene can just give people the
So
power
there you go.
of
It was
his aura
so there you
sphere.
go. It was Nene who gave him the sphere that he swallowed so he could get his shadow.
And can use the magic
Why did
to
he choose
operate
just
the
one random
machine.
Is that the same thing that buggered up his voice too?
Maybe.
No. Sadly, he was born like that.
So, okay. Question: can only Devis somehow go underground?
No.
So
Not that we
question.
know, at least.
Question: why didn't he hire a bounty hunter? No, seriously. It's common knowledge for evil empires. Hire a bounty hunter. Not someone who's possibly got a whole village at stake who's
Well,
all
the thing is, Jova, he's not an evil emperor. He's just an evil alien who goes around terrorizing people at random. We'll learn about where he came from later.
That's also the thing, Java. We barely know anything about this world.
Okay.
We know barely about anything. We don't know anything about our main character. We don't know anything about the world. We don't know nothing about our
There's a
villain.
clear lack of lore establishing.
You know, I think
Oh, don't worry, Teo. That's what. We're going to have lore. I just not sure if you're gonna like it.
Sorry, that's the thing, Pedro. In these games, you usually have a character that, through different plot devices like amnesia, or just because he's new to beings like that, represents the player, and the other characters basically dump stuff like lore indirectly to the player. It's a common narrative trick. But this game has none of that, at least so far.
No, it doesn't. In fact, it commits the same sin.
Know each other. There's no one who suffers amnesia. Everyone knows, taken from granted everything. But the player is completely in the dark.
Yeah, it commits the same mistake as. Hold on, let me explain this, by the way. Basically, these are the skills thing. Basically, whenever you level up your classes, you can learn skills that allow you to use. But basically, again, just like with the Final Fantasy V, thanks to the skill system, you can use skills from jobs in other jobs.
Yeah, to combine stuff.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Sure, right, guys. I think
But
I found
honestly,
out. Oh.
Honestly, I'm actually begging for a data log because while being a nuisance
Oh,
in
wow.
Final Fantasy 13, at least I could read it and understand something if I wanted to.
I was actually about to capitulate on that. I think I figured out the algorithm to this game's stupidity. See, it's on the opposite spectrum from the 13 trilogy. The 13 trilogy was ungodly idiotic to the point of being offensive because, yes, it explained everything, but it explained everything so dumbly, so despicably. Whereas this game's stupidity starts with the fact that you have a world, but you don't tell anyone about it. And the problem is, like, well, see, what this game does is that in order to try and, quote-unquote, answer questions, it just brings up these certain plot points, or as I'm calling them, plot contrivances. Like, oh, hey, how do we go through this?
Hold on, Jova. So now we're going to learn about field skills. Field skills is a skill that you can use while in a dungeon or the world map. You equip a field skill, it starts from the skills in the main menu. Blah, blah, blah. So basically what it does is it allows you to use specific skills that change the effects of what happened in the dungeon. Like, for example, you can use skills that protect you from random encounters, skills that make you invisible to the enemy, stuff like that. Go ahead, Jova.
But yeah, basically the main issue is like, one thing we notice is like, what this game does to try and facilitate its story is that it brings up any little tidbit or something it can to try and make things make sense. Like, all of a sudden he can dig like this, even though he's never done that before. Or all of a sudden they know what a warp thingamajig is. Or all of a sudden her parents are doctors, and that's how she knows this, even though we didn't mention that when they were in the hospital. Like, this is like a lazy student who puts together an essay right at the last minute and forgets to connect all the big plot points and just puts in random hand waves that kind of collapse onto each other when you get to the end of it.
See, the thing, it's like Sakaguchi himself didn't really care much when making this game.
Oh,
Like,
didn't you have a new tidbit about that about this game possibly being rushed so we could get to Lost Odyssey? Like this...
yeah, that's the thing, Jova. As I've shown to Teo via the wiki, turns out both games. Turns out he fought up Lost Odyssey before he fought up a Blue Dragon. He originally he originally had the idea for Lost Odyssey right after he left Square Enix in 2003. So my guess is my guess is he pitched Lost Odyssey to Microsoft, but Microsoft wanted 2 JRPGs from him instead of 1. So okay, fine, I'll shit out this one and then I'll make Lost Odyssey.
Did Lost Odyssey have as good a dev team, I wonder?
Yeah, Lost Odyssey had the same development team in general. Plus the different character designer, but aside from that, yeah, the same basic team, yes. It's a very different game than this one, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Shame Akira Toriyama couldn't be attached to that one, but hey, he was the character designer. Oh wait, was he still in Lost Odyssey?
Takehiko Inoue, aka a manga designer.
Yeah. Don't know if you watched it or read it, Jova, but it was the alpha of Slam Dunk.
Yeah. Also, did the voice say Lost at some point?
Yes, because remember, whenever the enemies lose us on the while they're chasing us, the voice says lost.
So where do we need to go next, actually?
We need to get to the Forest of the Dead via this cave.
You know, not for nothing, but wouldn't
So now 2 dungeons in a row. Yay!
you know, not for nothing, but lost seemed to suggest that you're lost on the map. Wouldn't it make more sense to say something like "got away" if you get away
Undersea
from the enemy?
caverns. Oh, so this is kind of like the sea trench in Final Fantasy V.
Sure. I guess you can say it like that.
So I
Let's
forget.
hope it doesn't have too much undead.
So what's our current goal right now?
We're going to get to the Forest of the Dead so that we can get the specific flower. Well, we talked over it during the
Oh.
cutscene. Basically, the point is, hermit crab poos, yay!
You know, I have a
The
bad...
game is literally throwing its shit at us.
Again.
What are those?
They use poos instead of shells to live in.
Excuse me while I.
Why?
I.
Sure, why?
Why? Just why?
Were you asking me for? I didn't make this.
But.
So, are we gonna go into why these creatures have
Does it
adapted?
make any more or less?
Allow me to remind you,
than
Teo.
crab in Season of Hill? You know.
Allow me to remind you, Teo. I was planning on buying a 360 specifically for this game.
Wait. Pedro, are you sure? Are you absolutely sure that there's no, like, you know, there's no guide, no lore guide, no journal, no nothing that talks about the different moves that you need?
Okay. I think it's like 2 parts for now, or 3 parts for now. I forgot the exact number of the part. In fact, let me just quickly check.
Pedro, I got a PS3 specifically for Sonic 06, and you know how that worked out.
But the PS3 has plenty of great games now. So.
Well,
Anyway.
buyer's remorse for launch day. Remember, PS3's at launch.
Yeah, I understand that.
Well, that was a
Let
bit after launch, so.
me
Maybe
quick.
it's on Japanese history.
Anyway, what I was saying was to learn more about the lore tale, believe it or not.
So, what, is that like a
Let
data
me
log?
just. Yeah, it's in part 7.
So is there
that
like
we're
a
going
data
to-
log or some journal? or-
No. We're going to. Well, it doesn't really matter. This doesn't spoil anything. Basically, we're going to reach a specific village that has an ancient computer thingy that tell us the story of an ancient civilization and shit and blah blah blah.
Screw that! I want to learn about the species that adapted to live in poop. Like, okay.
What?
Okay. Timmy, well, Shiroi, we were just told that apparently they use poop as their shells. But, okay, you know. Aside from
Jova.
that, okay, aside from that being stupid, that could actually be something that's stupid awesome when you think about it. Like, seriously, I'll give it this, it's creative. The problem is that we don't really get to explore any of these. See, okay, allow me to explain. For example, in the likes of Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2, you have Jiminy's diary, which of course gives you all this info on everyone you fight or meet in the course.
Not even
And
that.
it's a
You don't
nice
even
read.
need to read. I mean, yeah, it has some additional info in case you want more detail, but it's not like you need to read it. Like, and fine, it's just one of those things. See, but here's the thing, Jova. Here's the thing.
The fact that
On
they
the-
pointed out kind of seems weird that they don't really draw up on it more.
It's just one of the, honestly, Jova. That's just the thing. Aside from that one moment in Part 7 where we get lore, I don't think Sakaguchi even came up with anything for this world in terms of lore. Honestly, I'm still convinced that this game was only made so he could make Lost Odyssey as well.
Like, I mean, look, again, I don't want to diss Pokemon by saying this, but Pokemon is like the basic outline of an example of what you should at least have for an RPG with so many monsters. Pokemon has the Pokedex, so you can take records of everything you've seen or captured. This game doesn't even have that. I'm not saying that that's what makes or breaks an RPG, but an RPG not having something like that is not a good sign.
By the way, listen. Yes, his shoes make that sound when he jumps.
Oh, that was his shoes?
Because we totally needed that.
I thought that was him barking.
Lost.
Okay. By the way, Teo, you were saying something about the pacing being awful?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I say
No, that's just because I interrupted you when you were saying it, so feel free to finish your thought.
no, it's just as I mentioned before. No, it's that it's just also what Jova pretty much summed up. We know barely anything about this, and to give a more fair comparison, because it's stated Pokemon, but Pokemon works pretty much on its own rules. To give a fair comparison with an RPG that actually has more similar elements, let's compare it to the very first Final Fantasy, which had nothing, and the only thing it had to establish was, and to take inspiration from, was classic Dungeons and Dragons, which Sakaguchi always said was the main inspiration from it. So what did he do for create the world? He just threw in stuff, the very classical stuff, like elves, dwarves, undeads, very simple stuff. But he managed to do that in a way that the player gets information without having to have a guide, and still managing to roam around the world and having the events unfolding as it goes along. But this game seems to be, it's honestly, to me, kind of the same problem I had with the Eternal Sonata, not for the pacing, but for lore establishing. We're following the characters, jumping around from place A to B, and following him with a very close eye on them. Imagine the process of looking at them with a spyglass or a looking glass, and you're focused just on the character, which barely tells anything, I want to say, because they get barely any characterization, and instead you're not focusing on the environment, on the surroundings, on the lore establishing. Granted, it should not be the focus either. There should be a good balance between them.
Hey, maybe we can use that coral reef like a bridge.
Haven't we been doing that already, gameplay-wise?
Jiro?
But it's sunk down, we can't cross it.
It is? It looks like it's above the water.
We
Must
probably
be a
just
way
need to pull
cross
a
it.
lever or something.
Let's go back to the caverns and take another look.
Yeah, I'd like to mention something, by the way. I actually, as you probably noticed that earlier jump cut that I made.
Yeah.
That's because I actually got lost in this dungeon, even though I've already done it before. Why? See, the thing is, again, aside from the fact that the minimap is not exactly very useful, every single hallway in this dungeon looks exactly the same, so it's incredibly easy to not even, it's very easy to lose your bearings.
What use do you have for barnacle-shaped mounts?
Basically, Teo, we need to find a specific rock so we can put it in the barnacle so that we can raise that platform so we can cross. Because apparently...
that's crossed.
Yes. Well, actually, no, all we have to do is go to a specific treasure chest and get it.
Oh, so it's not a matter of killing one of the enemies for it.
I get it, it's a broad swordfish.
Yes. Anyway, it's just one of those things, okay? It's like the game moves on at such a mind-blowing fast pace, and the thing is, to go back to the 13 comparison that Joe, it's a different thing in the sense that for even though this game is still a better game than 13, if anything, because at least it's an actual game. Oh, there you go, fish-shaped key.
Yay.
I think what you're trying to say is like, well, this is a better game than 13, but literally, other than that, it's pretty much the opposite end of bad.
But that's the thing, and I hate to admit this, by the way, but at the very least, 13 felt like it actually cared about itself.
I hate to say it, but I agree to that too. I mean, Lord knows it wanted you to care about all the
even though part of it is buried in the data log and we don't see everything, there is a world establishing in 13, both for Pulse and Cocoon, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those.
See, 13's about of like the scripting on the obvious wrong side of things. Like, instead of being out in the open, the script is more so in the background. So with 13, there was actually something of some decent writing there to be done. It just wasn't taken advantage of. I'm speaking strictly about the first game. The other two games are a bit different.
Unsalvageable as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, but yeah, like I said, like the first 13 felt like at the very least cared about what itself, whereas this game, I mean, this game just feels, this game has no pulse, no blood running through its veins. It's the Mighty Number 9 of JRPGs when you get right down to it.
Yeah.
I mean, let's think about this for a moment.
Except this is less buggy, probably.
It is, but let's think about this for a moment. Sakaguchi left Square, just like Inafune left Capcom. Then he founded his own studio. Then he made this game, which was supposed to be a spiritual successor to the classic Final Fantasy series. You're starting to see the parallels here?
Yeah, Illuminati, of course.
Hey, well, at least he didn't take fans' money for it.
And now, there you go, too. We had to get the fish-shaped key so that we can open the fish-shaped treasure chest so that we can get the Executive Crystal, so that we can get the Executive Crystal in the coral reef, so that we can open the bridge, so that we can leave the dungeon.
Are you exaggerating those ones in between?
You still think this is a game, young man? It's a perfect hexagonal shape. Yeah.
I've never seen such a well-formed crystal. Maybe we could use it for some...
Gee, maybe we could use it for something. Hey, Teo, do you think maybe we could use... Oh,
Wow,
look!
they even showed us... They even showed us...
But can we use Ramses Ram? So
Question. Why the heck does that hole look nothing like a fish?
Yes, game, and yes, like Jova said, they even showed us the hexagonal reef again, like, because we're stupid and we can't figure out, we can't put one together, so we have to be told.
Is this gonna break you, Pedro?
No, again, Shiwei, like I've already explained, remember, this was a game, this was going to be the game that was going to heal my heart after my disappointment with Final Fantasy X. But no, I had to wait for Nino Kuni for that.
So
Thanks, Ino-san.
I wonder, so what if you had been one of the many people who like Final Fantasy X? Do you think history would have turned out a bit more different?
Lost Odyssey would have. Hold on, Java. Lost Odyssey would have served. Now that I've finally played Lost Odyssey ever since getting my 360, Lost Odyssey would have served as a great way to do that. But unfortunately, this game sucked so much balls, and I got so butthurt with Sakaguchi that I didn't even try Lost Odyssey.
That's a shame.
I only tried it later when I finally got a used 360. Rant over. Anyway, what? Go ahead, Joel. You were saying? Sorry.
Yeah. That quote-unquote fish-shaped hole don't exactly look like a fish. That doesn't even look like a hexagon. But I just gotta say this. Bit of gameplay inconsistency here. Most of the time we've been walking on the water just fine, but all of a sudden, that one pool is too deep for us to walk through. Like, seriously, there needs to be some actual sense of depth.
Boss battle. You know what that means.
The Hydra.
This is the best part of the game, the boss battles. Why? Because you get to hear this amazingly awful theme.
That was made under really weird circumstances, now that we know.
why the parcel of all things?
But yeah, like I was saying, again, Sakaguchi left Square on his own studio to make a spiritual successor. Granted, it wasn't crowdfunded, but it was indeed a spiritual successor to his previous work. Yeah, it's a very interesting parallel when you think about it, isn't it?
And you're maxed out so the boss is dead. I guess he's supposed to be... It's weird though, I mean, you were maxed out with the first boss and that one took longer.
It's because I have Maru Maro now. Maru Maro is one of the best physical fighters in the game.
Also true. That boss gimmick was bad, he had multiple heads, but since Pedro already has the mow down move, which at this point of the game he shouldn't have, he was able to attack all of them at once.
So
New game plus, new game.
In-game compensates for
New game plus for the win.
So what you're saying is that Maru Maro, while annoying story-wise, is great gameplay-wise?
I know, it's like he did it on purpose.
Playable.
Lethal Joe character.
Alright, everybody, in the next explore the Forest of the Dead. Gee, Teo, what do you think kind of enemies
Sounds
we will
like
find
such
in
a
the Forest of
happy
the Dead?
I wonder.
Oh, just you wait until by the way, Teo, you want world building? Wait till you hear how exactly this forest works, because you're not gonna believe it. So see you for the next part, everybody.
Could it be any more stupid?
Yes. See you, everybody.
Okay.